America. I'll put it like that. And let me trade, I don't want this stand. I want to get a higher stand. Yep. And I just wanted to, everybody's having a conversation, and everybody needs to understand that we as Americans, now we understand our position in America. It's a position, boo. Oh, shoot, sorry. I'm trying to get it together here. I can just do it. I should have just did that before. 1, 2, 3. There. Okay. Now it's in there. Secure. Mm-hmm. It's not quite as big. It's real. You don't have that kind of problem. Let me see if it's going to stay. Apparently now it's going to stay. And the Black Caucus had a public workshop, but I don't think many black people pay attention to the Black Caucus in America. I mean, the Congressional Black Caucus has representative, and Stephen Hirschford is our representative here in Nevada. I've talked to him several times. And apparently he didn't go with what Nevada wanted to go with, which was fighting for them to continue to do as they have this process that was established where they're providing services to local school districts. This was done in California. Sweeney did it. Jim Sweeney, he was the superintendent of Sacramento City Unified School District. He took all of the administrators out of Sacramento City Unified School District, put them under his employ, and started selling administrative services back to the local districts. Who knows how they're doing it? And I'm just saying, whatever services are being provided by employees who are getting double dipping on the, either double dipping or solely, contracts that are not open for the public. And it's just, it is what it is. But, in 2025, I say, oh, yeah, we're live. And I am here living in Las Vegas. Say, Viva Las Vegas. We're happy for Las Vegas, as Las Vegas is the entertainment capital in the world. And my people, black people are starting to realize that perhaps America runs on the entertainment capital. So we got all these NBA players, NFL, and all these sports professionals. Unfortunate in certain sports. DEI, diversity and equity, don't really matter because they're going to pay for what they're willing to pay for. And that's just real. Like Henry Ruggs, he had $2.7 million. That's a whole lot of money. And I'm saying Henry was all off on himself. That's just real. And I'm saying, even like my son told me, he met a young man that was on the internet who had a lot of followers and was getting donations and everything from these followers. And then it kind of ended. And I'm saying, and then he couldn't manage it. And I tried to tell my son, this is just how you have to be who you are as an individual. And God has blessed you to know. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'll say, I've decided that, I'm going to sow the seed so I can reap the harvest myself, because it's no longer, NBC, ABC, and all those other, entities, CBS. It is now you and whatever God did for you. And if the universe has provided a pathway for you because you were willing, simply willing, for the trials and tribulations as life just prevails. And here we are, living on and keeping on. And glad to see another day. And I'm saying, here I am listening to Nevada's legislators talking, because I understand who's been running the game. The game's been run from people who have chosen to do what? Chosen to lead. And you have to choose to lead in America. And you have to choose to follow. Follow what? The Spirit. And we are living through a spiritual awakening. Simply, I want to promise you, here we are, trials and tribulations. And Revelation says, everything will be revealed. And then we start seeing how they were spending the money, how recklessly, and how there's no oversight. Do you realize a third-party provider in a public school system is not obligated for any outcome no measurable outcomes. I'm saying, oh no. I always looked into the program to check and see how well people were speaking on them. And we have tools now. You can figure out if a provider is going to do what they say they're going to do. And here we are. We have so many children that are failing our public school system. What does that mean? What is failure to thrive? Boo, I want to tell you, failure to thrive is just like what Kaiser says. Boom, boom, boom. Or Microsoft. Hello, human capital. And people were not paying attention. Bing used to say that all the time. Bing, 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 human capital. And then when people really realized that they was the capital, that I was born in Mississippi, Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, this, down by Columbus or whatever. And I'm saying there are so many people in the South that just choose not to do politics. Oh, what is politics? Are you talking politics? Oh, girl, you talking politics. And I'm saying, do you know what politics are? It's only about the money. And I'm saying, we all pay these taxes. And I don't care if you pay a penny or a dime or whatever you paying. You paying to the salaries and the benefits of these people who are living behind gated communities here in Nevada. And I do mean gated communities. They get stipends, and you don't even understand $1 million stipends when they have something called ad hoc committees. Ad hoc committees at the governor's level. That means that everything before what he stepped in just failed. But why would you allow yourself to be a part of the failure? It's unacceptable. So that's why I was blessed to be able to go back to public school through the whole public school system, K-12, at least 3 times. And now more, because I'm supporting other people and their children through the IEP process. What is an IEP? An individual plan, boo. Individual plan that's guaranteed by what? The federal government. And I'm saying, as an American, you better understand this one thing. The only thing that protects you as a citizen is the federal government. Because otherwise, you're just part of the harvest, boo. And when I say a harvest, I'm saying everything that exists generates a certain dollar allocation or whatever. And then we have to understand, well, how do we even fit in? We're not working in our own communities, and that's for sure. And what is willful defiance? I'd like to understand that. What is the value of a letter grade of F? Anybody can put it up in the chat. I'd like to understand what is the value of a letter grade of S, especially when families are being documented, I'll put it like that, for the inability to sustain their children or provide adequate access for their children when there are no resources that are being offered anymore. Wake up in 2025. Here we are, and, looks are so irrelevant because we have to have people who are willing to, toe the line. People are willing to go the distance. And I'm saying, no, I'm not going to put myself out there where I can't pay the rent bill. I'm sorry, can't go to jail. Show can't. And I don't want, and I like my life. I do like my life. But you have to be willing to understand that everybody, that song, everybody's got a thing. They soon ought to know how to handle it. Well, soon they're reaching out in vain and always worrying about smiling faces. But Stevie says, don't you worry about a thing. And then we have Snoop, and he is keyed in. Oh, what does Snoop say? Something. I'm living my best life. Ain't got time to deal with you. Okay. And it's niggas. And I'm saying, when they can say niggas in the song, and then when you say it, then you get a ding, and then it's written up in your social profile, I'm saying, oh, no. It's just a word, but who's created the words? Well, the words are the words, and the words are the words. And the words just don't what? Simply make any sense anymore. We've got all these people with all these damn degrees, this degree, that degree, this degree. And I'm saying, look at the outcomes in America. What the hell? What are we doing? I really don't know. But I do know that All of the public services in America should be based on what? Measurable outcomes. Just measurable outcomes. How do you measure the maintenance of effort? And it is required by the federal government. And that's why these people have $770 something million sitting on the what? On the table, waiting for someone to write a program that is approved by the federal government or to measure what is considered the maintenance of effort for the number of children who are being incarcerated. Do you realize that you're supposed to be educating those children also? That they're entitled to what is free and appropriate, but what is appropriate for someone who's been victimized by someone else's perception of who they are? We just have to put a dime on it. I'm living my best life, ain't got time to deal with you. And we just really have to deal with all of this because it is the best life that you've got. And quite frankly, you could pretend that it's just not you. Oh no, boo. I have a good time all the time. I take my son. I have one child that is really just dependent on me and needs more independent skills. So I have one son that is just, oh man, he just loves his life and he loves women, and you better understand he's looking for a wife. And then I got one son who has a child and who is becoming the best daddy that there ever could be. He's going to write a book, Plant-Based Daddy. He did the cover once before then. This thing that they do to people in regards to their self-esteem, in regards to their lack of Kendrick's Squabble Up. I love that. I love Kendrick's GMX whole album. And, because he's talking to the people. When you see the babies bouncing on Kendrick's music, understand, we all need to step up in America, in the world, truly. We are blessed and highly favored. If we are sustaining ourselves, people want to know, well, how did you do that? Well, how did that work? And I'm saying, do you realize that the district attorney has so much power in your life? And I'm saying, you didn't have to work to get under that level of oversight and oppression. No, but they don't teach you anything. If your mama didn't teach you nothing, then you just don't know. And it's unfortunate, but ignorance is not bliss. Did you not know that? I'm born in America, born in the USA. Song, born in the USA. I was born in the U, because I was born in Mississippi. And, but I understand. My favorite song probably would be, You Keep Playing. God, I've been saying, bump, I know the line. These boots were made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. 'Cause one of these days, these boots are gonna walk on. I have to have the words, 'cause I don't memorize shit. Yep. The only real song that I ever memorize is, I don't even know I think it's the Impressions. If you had a choice of colors, which one would you choose, my brother? If there were no day or night, which would you prefer to be right? How long have you hated your teacher? And who told you to love your preacher? And to respect your brother's women friends and share with black folks not of kin. Now people must prove to the people a better day is coming for you and for me, with just a little bit more education and love for our nation. Hell, we'll have a better society, but that's just never going to happen because I've seen so many mixed race children here in Nevada. And, it should be the national whatever of mixed race people, because really, people are not organizing around race, but the dollars still are being appropriated in the community based on race. That's right. And services. Because, in 1964, after the Civil Rights Act, it just happened. And people had an obligation to do what? To step up. That's right, boo. And people did step up. All those services and all those resources just for the people who were, classified. And then, the money sat out there so long and people didn't take advantage of it. And guess what happened? People figured out how to get the money. And they always do, as they always do. And, you can only spend the federal dollars based on the requirements for the grant fundings. And, you know, when they don't have the data, they just don't have it. That's totally understandable. Your voice is so good. I respect your, and thank you so much. I'm telling you, I used to go to board meetings all the time, and my kids would say, meeting, because, they were like in high school, and they wanted to leave, and I had made the drastic whatever, and I had a baby at 38. And so they were 11 years apart. My kids were getting ready to graduate high school. They was not helping me raise my last one, and they told me that too. So they went off to college. First one, then the other one. And they went to the historically black colleges. I think the unfortunate thing is I was a single parent. I didn't have that kind of money to set aside for them to go to college. And I think this whole college thing is bullshit. Because all these people with all these damn degrees, and I'm sorry, look at us now as Americans. Where are we? And what are we doing? And I'm saying, in 2025, you need to understand that we are alive, and I'm not going back. And they're saying now that in some of the states that had red states, where they could control the voting patterns, that some of those votes were just thrown out. But does it make a difference? No. I think it's okay, because right now we need to know how everyone has come since. How far have you come since 1964 or the Brown versus the Board of Education, creating this equal access and equal protections? And because we have all these immigrants too, and we're all Americans, boo. Know that. I'm just an American born in the USA, Mississippi. And I'm saying, if you still allocating some money for Mississippi because I was born there, I'd like to have a percentage of that, yeah. Because, my last name is Billups. And those Billups gas stations, I think I should have a percentage of that because my daddy was associated with those gas lines and the Billups family. Well, I don't know how it works, but I really don't care because guess what? I can level up. They say, level up was my favorite song. Level, my level. And then was telling you that you needed to level up. Has anyone ever said that leveling up was important? That you need to understand that it is you, boo. And that if you accept failure, that's what you get in America. The letter grade of F is what you earned. Did you really earn it, or did someone just decide that you weren't worth it? And I think it was the latter. I think the obligation to what is free and appropriate lies on the individual, and it really lies in the community. If the community has talked about what their expectations are for measured outcomes of mandatory services. See, it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't mandatory. But the DA can come in your family and take your babies because you can't afford housing. And I'm saying, oh, hell no. Enough is enough. And I'm saying, this is 2025, and what the big C established is that perhaps some states had failed in their would be considered a derelict of duty. They just neglected. And they have all these disproportional, outcomes or data. And they really can't, justify how they spent millions of dollars. Well, the whole thing is that we all need to participate in our own communities. And I'd love to go to a concert with my people, but it's unfortunate that the entertainers in the community of people who look like me, they don't associate with people who look like them. I'm saying, hell no. Did you not know that God made us all? And it's really not a blessing. Look, Whitney's not here anymore. Neither is Prince. We'll never be able to speak to them again. But the separation of the people who look like you. I mean, I don't understand that R. Kelly's BS. He had a public trial, and everybody knew everything about the tantalizing. I'm saying, no, boo, I don't know shit. He had a wife, too, at that time. Where was she? And what was she doing? I'm just saying, if all that was really going on, I'm really just trying to understand. It was disgusting, and it was a circus. But people made so much money. Ooh, shoot. And then for them to go back on the third time they went to trial to ask the judge to allow them to have access to all his content from the time he began his musical, whatever. And I'm saying, the judge said no. He ain't stupid. Just like I'm going to promise you one thing. What's that, OJ? Now, see, OJ was the story and was really the telling of how they were not going to allow anybody to touch their money because OJ crossed the line. And he was up there with the white folks. And he had a retirement that nobody was going to touch, untouchable. And that's how it went down. Those people didn't get SHIT. He did what he wanted to. And I'm sure he gave money to who he wanted. He took care of his children. And but if they were really family, what was that really all about? And quite frankly, it is what it is. And everything is awesome until it's not. And I promise you, everything is awesome no matter, who you love or whatever. You can love them, but then when it ain't good, it ain't good. And you could tell yourself, oh, no, I can't deal with that anymore. Oh, you start telling yourself what you can't deal with anymore. And then pretty soon you really can't deal with that shit. And I promise you, you see it. It is disgusting. You say, oh, I'm tired of it. You keep on telling yourself how tired you are. And pretty soon you are tired and you don't want to deal with it anymore. Everybody in the world has some shortcomings. I got mine. But I'm not inviting anybody into my personal space to share my shortcomings. No, they're mine. And when I get ready to get rid of them, I will. But we all have an obligation to what we see. And the obligation to life is the youngest and the neediest of children. And under Head Start in America, well, it's an awesome program. It really is. And so Norma Johnson was the director of the Head Start, Set a Head Start in Sacramento. And I was on the PAC then. And she just provided so much training for the young people, young mothers, young single parents that were in there, that were in the program. And you just don't even understand. The federal government paid for our hotel, paid for the workshops, paid for everything, paid for the meals. And, there was one lady she did a workshop. And she says, I make a difference every day. And when you say I make the difference every day, it's going to be a book. And this white chick, and she had red hair, or auburn. Her hair was auburn, and she was awesome. But I was young then. Don't remember her name. And then I remember what else. Something else made a difference in my life. My sister said, it is a little book called Who Moved the Cheese? And so she read it to me. We read the book together, because my sister used to read to me all the time because I hated to read. But now she don't have to read to me because, well, Adobe reads to you. And I like to hear the words and process the information without speaking it out of my mouth. But anyways, Who Moved the Cheese is all about, a family of mice, and they're all gathered around the cheese, and they go socialize every day. They're enjoying life, and every life is just wonderful. And every day they show up, and the cheese is there, and they just get served, and everything is wonderful. And then one day, they came, and there was no cheese. And they thought about that shit, and they kept coming back for a week maybe, and there was no cheese. And then for a month maybe, and there was no cheese. And so one day, after some time had passed, they decided that they would do what? Venture off. But not everybody wanted to venture off. Some of the people decided that, or some of the mice decided that they would just stay there. Maybe the cheese would come back. So they went off into venture, and pretty soon, I guess, the ones who went off actually found some cheese and continued to live their life. But guess what? There were people that were still left behind. They stayed there. They didn't believe the cheese was ever going to leave. And I'm saying, here we are. And I'm saying, people here in Las Vegas have compromised their children. They went to this thing called the Prime 6. They have 6 schools that they put federal dollars into, and they made them like open enrollment schools. They were like, charter schools, basically. And they were state charters, I think. I don't know. I'm not exactly how they had them, but the deals, they got more money, and they got money for like 6 or 7 years. They had a certain amount of money, and then they got extra money based on the extra categories under consolidated application process, whatever. But they fixed it. And then they were busing those kids out of the area. And so they created NRS code. So if the kids had behavior problems, they didn't have to address those behavior problems. And they created a process other than what special education has already created for the federal government. They created their own process, boo. And it has a list of things. It's called a habitual disciplinary problem. I'll let you go and search it on your own. But you type up those 3 words, habitual disciplinary problem, you're going to come up with a list of things that Nevada does to violate your human rights. And I'm saying it's just there because special education had already done the deal. Special education says that if you have a problem and it's due to your disability, what you have a right to have. And then they have to offer services to try to transition that behavior, get a better outcome, and they have to continually do it. I mean, because life is all about you being successful, boo. But if you didn't understand that, failure is an option for you. So many people are being pushed through the educational system with certificates of completion. That's just saying, hey, boo, you didn't get it. And it's not funny, but you just didn't make it. And I'm saying that certificate of completion is not going to employ you. No, the skills you probably really need are skills that you will learn by participating in a process, some kind of way. But, they do have all kind of programs. They, in the public school system. And in Sacramento, they certainly did have programs. And, and it's just amazing. You have to pay attention. Every state is so different. And I didn't realize that all states don't follow the Constitution. But it's up to the people. And if you are a part of the people, boo, and you're the one that's failing yourself to demand what? A level of outcomes that are measurable. Maintenance of effort is everything. But do you understand that when you take Title I dollars 30, 60, 90 days into the school year, you're supposed to have a meeting. And you're supposed to have those public meetings with your school site council reps that are elected by other parents, not appointed. But these people appoint everybody to every public agency that is not for profit has a representative that represents itself before the legislators. And legislators just they didn't appoint a team to go and investigate what the federal government said. No, this is some insane stuff. They never have anybody who shows up to have public comment except for the people who are from the agencies that get the money. And I'm saying, no, y'all all need to wake up. And probably the training just really needs to come from where? Oh, here we have a visitor overhead. It is... You don't have no red, but it's a blue. I don't know. Who knows what they are? They're just helicopters. They fly overhead once or twice a day. Maybe sometimes even 3 times. But, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. And I have helped parents who have children who are going through expulsions. I'll put it like that. And won several times. You see, you have a right to what is considered free and appropriate. And the district has an obligation to use assessments and to determine how to help you. And I'm saying these people have not even developed the healthcare system because they use the NRS code of habitual disciplinary problem. I mean, you don't have to address the issues if you've already got away. And then they have these RFPs, requests for proposals, they call them. And they're submitted through Clark County. And then they get approved. And friends do friends favors. And I'm sorry. Your friendship is not doing me any good in 2025. I would like to know the number of children. Why is it there are 88% population of Negro children in the juvenile facility? Is there something that is different with the black community than all other people? And what else? They had a 259% issues of willful defiance, but what does that look like, boo? Who's determining what the willful defiance is? I don't know. And I can't tell, if anybody's listening in the room, but I would encourage you to go to my podcast. It's Parent Empowerment Half an Hour. It's over there on Spotify. And listen to legislators and people. Get yourself some knowledge, boo. Wake up in 25. Because we don't have any more time to waste. And I'll say, until we meet again, I'll be back tomorrow, y'all. Have a blessed day. And I'm saying, please inbox me, answer me, whatever, ask me. It doesn't really matter. You know, when you love yourself and you know who you are, then you just need to do you. And I'm encouraging everybody to step up and do themselves. In 2025, let's all live. Let's all be alive. Y'all have a blessed day. And thanks for dropping in.